Hey guys, Marty's the name, and today, Majora's Mask 3D is the game. In the last episode, we took on the first half of Great Bay Temple. We got the first 8 stray fairies, we got the item of this dungeon, the ice arrows, and we also, we also got the boss key. And in this episode, we're going to be taking on the second half, and we're eventually going to be able to get onto the boss. So right over here, you're going to see that there's 2 red rupees. Well, actually, I think we got one from the last episode. I'm going to try to get the other one, but probably, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, these Dexy hands aren't really all that nice, and I don't even think, maybe if I get into that second one, he will throw me into it. No, he doesn't throw me into the rupee at all. Wow, it's kind of hard to get that. Again, this is a great time when using the hook shot to be able to grab onto the item. To be able to grab onto that rupee would be very, very useful. Let's see, oh, no. Oh well, it's okay, it's just 20 rupees, I can live without it. I'm just trying to make myself feel a little bit better about having missed it. I just hate it when something's like right there in front of you and you try your best to get it and you just can't. But it's okay, it's totally fine. So, we got the boss key in the last episode. Now what we're gonna wanna do is head back to the first room in the dungeon. Not the first room where we got off the turtle, but the second room, I guess I should say. Because we're gonna wanna go there to hit some switches. Let's see, so let's get onto this platform. I love how Link dives into the platform, it's my favorite. And we're gonna wanna go to the south exit back to the second room of the dungeon. Because we've already explored all the hallways that are underwater in the washroom room. I shouldn't call it the washing room, but you guys know what I mean. I mean, it's like a washing machine that we got in the main chamber. We've already gone through all the pathways that are underwater with the way the water's currently flowing. You might have noticed that there are other pathways that we can't go into with the water going the current way it's going. So what we're gonna wanna do is hookshot onto that little onto that little marking right up there. Let's see, we're gonna want to, fall apparently. All right, let's try this again. Ooh, okay, we'll wait for it to go back up. Pro tip, don't roll off of this, just tilt your analog stick forward to run off of it, because if you press A to do a roll, you're gonna fall like I did. So we're gonna wanna hit the switch because we want the waterway to go the direction of the water to go in the opposite direction. Man, I'm really not good speaking today. So to do that, we are going to turn on that water switch. It will cause the big turbine to stop spinning, and we're gonna go and turn off the other switch right over here. And when we do that, physics will tell you that you can tap a switch and it'll turn itself for you. I don't know how I did that, by the way. I think what happened was I pressed to push it and then I let go right before the cutscene initiated and it just kind of pushed itself. But now the turbine's going to be going the opposite direction, and this is what powers the water flow throughout the entire temple. So the water should be going in the opposite direction now, opening up new areas to us. I mean, to me, this isn't completely obvious. So this is another one of those instances I point to say that this really is a hard dungeon. I mean, maybe there is some sort of hint somewhere that I'm not aware of, or I just don't see it. I don't know, but this was never really all that obvious to me. But, I mean, now it makes sense, but at the time, not really. And you're gonna notice that the water appears like it's going the opposite direction in that pipe right there. So if you come over here, everything is spinning in the opposite direction. That was once going counterclockwise, it is now going clockwise, and so is the water. So what we're gonna wanna do is transform into Hylian form, and you're gonna see a waterfall that's covering a ladder over there that you're naturally going to want to climb. So, pro tip, do not hop onto the spinning platform while you do this, because the platform keeps spinning in the cutscene and you will get knocked off into the water. But by shooting that waterfall, it's going to freeze it up at the top and we'll be able to climb up the ladder. Which, by the way, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, or maybe I mentioned it in the failed recording. That's another thing, is I had an attempt at recording this, and afterwards I listened to the commentary, and there was this really weird clicking sound that kept making its way into the audio feed, so I went ahead and I'm re-recording now. So I can't remember if I said this in the last episode or in the failed attempt of the recording. Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Okay, I'll put up a note on the screen right now because I'll know what I'm talking about. I totally lost my train of thought. Anyways, into this new room. Let's get that blue tight to come our way. You're gonna see the sparkly water. that is our hint to get out our ice arrows, and we're gonna wanna make our way over to that switch over there. So, in real life stuff to talk about, I've been live streaming Paper Mario recently. Hopefully some of you guys have been watching that. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad to finally be getting back to it. Paper Mario is a game that I've wanted to play, or really the entire series. It's a series that I've wanted to get into for a while now, but I just never did, and this live stream is a great excuse for me to do that. You know, not that I need an excuse to begin with, but I mean, it's kind of hard for me to justify, you know, going back and playing games like Paper Mario when I've just spent tons of money on Persona 5 and I still haven't beaten it. I talk about all the time about how I still haven't beaten that game. I'm lucky that nobody spoiled it for me yet. Please, nobody spoil it for me. I've just asked for it. Okay, well, hopefully not. If you spoil it for me, I will never be your friend. So, don't do that. Because I'm assuming you might maybe want to be my friend. Okay, we're gonna shoot that right over there. Again, transform into our Deku form, and also have your Zora's mask on hand. So I'm really enjoying the live stream. If you can make it out to one of the live streams, I welcome you to. It's a lot of fun. Currently, the time that I live stream is around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm thinking it's going to be a daily thing. So, you know, by all means, join. It's a fun time. Streaming is really fun. It's a lot more laid back than Let's Playing can be. Because, I mean, a lot of work goes into every single one of my Majora's Mask videos. A lot of stuff that you guys don't even know about. So, when I can just plug in my Wii, like boot up the capture card, and just start playing a game and talking over it, it's really, really laid back. And I mean, I enjoy it. Not to say that I obviously enjoy Let's Playing, that's why I'm still doing it. But it's a nice change of pace for sure, and I really, really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So right over here, you're gonna see these little sparkly ice spots that are over to the side. That is a hint for us to do something up there. So I don't think we could quite make it all the way over there without first using this little middle ice platform, but I'll just play it safe. We're going to spin over here, get out our hook shot, and if you look right above, past me, what are you doing? You're leaving me hanging. You're going to see a little hook shot marking up there. I don't know what else to call that. Hook shot marking? I don't know. But anyways, hook shot onto that, and you're gonna see that there is a second level up here. And a treasure chest for us to get, which will contain Stray Fairy number 9. So there is a red rupee right here, and there's a red rupee behind me. Both red rupees require you to hook shot and then up to the ceiling and then fall down through a hole. If you want to get the other one, by all means, go for it, but you're gonna have to swim all the way to the door, and I'm too lazy to do that much work for another red rupee. So now that we're in here, which another thing that I should mention is I normally have notes written aside every time I record an episode for the things that I should do in the video. So in case I get lost or off track with what I'm supposed to be doing in the game, I can refer to those notes. Like I said, I had a failed attempt of recording this episode, and I deleted the notes after I recorded that video, so I don't have my notes for this temple anymore. So I'm trying my best to remember things. So I apologize if there are moments like that one where I can't quite remember what I'm supposed to be doing, but hey, past me who's playing the game right now does know what I'm or he is supposed to be doing. It's weird differentiating myself from my past self. Anyways, we're gonna want to rise to the surface and kill these skullfish because they're so annoying. And okay, these just give us more magic that I don't really need. We're going to want to hop up onto this platform right up here. So, let me think, other things I want to talk about. E3 is coming up. I'm very excited for E3. And this is the first year in a while where there's not a whole ton that I'm really, really hoping for. I mean, I don't know, I'm pretty content right now. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I mean, obviously there's things that I want to hear from E3, but I mean, there's not a whole lot that I'm really dying to hear about. Things that I am dying to hear about, I am really, really wanting some more information about Pikmin 4. I'm wanting more information about Animal Crossing on the Switch, and I want a release date for the Link's Awakening remake. That's about all I really want right now. but I definitely want to hear some information on Pikmin 4. It has been too long. I have been having Pikmin withdrawal, so I've had so many urges recently to play Pikmin 3. Yeah, I just really want more information on Pikmin 4. I mean, some gameplay would be great, but that's very optimistic. So, you're gonna have to hop back down into the water if you want to get all the stray fairies in this room. That was stray fairy number 10 by hookshotting onto that torch that was over there. There is another hidden stray fairy for us to get. We're going to want to do the same thing that we did a moment ago, go up these platforms and go to that back corner of the room, and then we'll be able to see a treasure chest that we can hookshot onto. There you go. So I forget that the exact date that E3 is, but it's May 17th right now. I think E3 is in June? So it's coming up, sort of-ish. There is the treasure chest you want to hookshot onto, and you are a little bit far away. There, you have to get just close enough. You can just barely get close enough to get to it. All right, hookshot, press A as quickly as I can, so the second I get there, I can open up that chest. All right, stray fairy number 11. And stray fairy number 11 out of 15, so we're getting pretty close to the end. So what you're gonna wanna do right here is you're gonna see that this falling water is what's powering this turbine. Freeze it from the top. It'll stop turning and conveniently stop so that we can use it as a, so that we can pass over it. It just landed perfectly like this. Very convenient. And you're gonna wanna make your way to this back door right over here. There's nothing else that we can do in this room. The markings that are on this turbine are really interesting. I mean, it's a fish, but it's pretty cool work. Artwork, I mean. So, now we have a little bit of a puzzle in here. As soon as you hop in, hop on down, and you're gonna notice that there is a path of water that we can dive on into right down there. Let's see if I can get any more arrows or magic. I don't know why, I've just had a lot of urges to just break everything I come into contact with in this dungeon. I don't want to leave any box or pottery or pot. There you go, any box or pot unbroken. This we do need to break actually. So it's kind of, we have a really small like area space down here, but do what you can to dive on into that. Break it for stray fairy number 12. That's a very easy one to miss right there. So we have a little bit of a puzzle in here with these levers. If you look on up, first I have a feeling he's going to attack me later. If you look on up, you're gonna want to get out your fire arrows actually, because you're gonna see that the water is frozen in the ceiling. So if we go ahead and melt that, water will pour down to the other side of the seesaw, and that will, physics, lift us up. Come right over here and rinse and repeat. So something that I tweeted about a long time ago, well, I say a long time ago, but it's probably only a couple weeks or so ago, is that I have a new recording setup. I'll put a picture of it on the screen right now. I'm so excited for it. It's something that I've always just kind of visualized, but never really had the space or money or time to do for myself back when I lived in my parents' house. But I have the space for it now, and it's great. So you're gonna wanna hit the switch right here, because you're gonna see that the water is not flowing in that segment of pipe back there. Once you line up the switch, water will flow. Again, like I said, we're just a plumber for this big dungeon. This dungeon is somebody's house, and we are fixing their plumbing. Before you hop down, come over here, and watch over the bomb chute down there, and hop down into this area, hookshot across. Oop, morning, the second day. Wow, we're making really good time. We're making really good time in this dungeon. It's only the morning of the second day, and we're mostly through this dungeon. Come over here, stray fairy number 13. Yep, stray fairy number 13. Speaking of the number 13, my girlfriend and I have been coming across the number 13 a lot recently, and you guys probably don't know this because I don't think I've ever really mentioned it, but she is so superstitious about everything. So my girlfriend comes from St. Thomas. For those of you who don't know, it's one of the American Virgin Islands, and I'd never heard of this before I met her. I'm pretty sure it is a island thing. Maybe not exclusive to St. Thomas, but I think it's definitely a Caribbean island thing. The concept of the goat. The goat is basically like the enforcer of what we call in the West Murphy's Law. Or not really Murphy's Law, because Murphy's Law is really, I think if anything will go wrong, can go wrong and will, But the idea of jinxing things, like, oh, like, I'll totally do well on my tests tomorrow. The idea is if you don't take it back, or, you know, knock on wood or something, then the goat's gonna come get you. And the goat's gonna make you do poorly on your test. So, anyways, that's just one example of how she's very superstitious. But, we've been running across number 13 a lot recently, you know, like, in our total on our receipt, in our order numbers, etc., etc. And I think that the moment she recognized number 13, she started noticing it more and more and more, because when you become aware of something, you notice it more. And I think that's all it is, but we've been seeing a lot of 13s recently, so she's been kind of worried. Anyways, we're in the final room, if you can believe that. If you come over to this back right corner and drop on down, and after we defeat this pottery, you're gonna see a stray fairy. You can either swim through it and then go back to the main chamber and come back into this room, or you can do the shorter method. Hit it with your double cutters, transform back into Hylian form, put on your Gray Fairy mask, and it'll come to you. Because that's just a bit quicker. Oh, earlier when I was like, I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last video or not. I remember what I was talking about. I was saying that I think Hylian Link can be underwater for like a minute 15 or a minute 20 seconds, something like that. And I find it really weird that they put that time limit in there, because you can't really do anything without the Zora mask to get yourself that deep underwater in the first place. Because Link can only dive underwater for 3 seconds in his regular Hylian form, so why does he need to have a maximum minute 20 seconds that he can stay underwater before he dies? I mean, I'm not all that sure at all. I believe that in the early development of this game, before they decided that the Zora mask would allow you to sink down to the bottom of the water, that there was going to be an item that was similar to the Iron Boots in Ocarina of Time that would allow you to sink down. So maybe that minute 20 seconds is left over from that before they plan for you to have the Zora's mask to allow you to sink down. I'm not sure, but it's something that I kind of question, because it's like, why does that need to be there? But after you hit the final switch in this dungeon, it'll power ourselves to the elevator. We've gotten all 15 stray fairies. All that lies before us now is the boss. Without further ado, I'm kidding, there's more delay because we have another room before the boss room. I have to slash this pot for my 3 rupees. Let's see if we can see the bottom of this pit. Yep, I mean, hey, if we can see the bottom of it, it must be safe. Let's jump on in. Gargantuan masked fish, Gyorg. The third boss of this game. And this fight is drastically different than it was in the original version. Whether I like this version of the fight better or worse, it's hard for me to say. I think I like the original better. I think it was a better fight. But at the same time, I mean, the changes that they made in this version of the boss battle aren't all that bad. It's more different than anything, and whether you like it or not is just kind of up to your taste. But anyways, what we're supposed to be doing right here is you're gonna see him swimming around. Get out your bow and arrow and shoot him with an arrow on the part that is not covered up by the metal mask. And after you shoot him once, you can shoot him again. Don't think that once you shoot him and he freaks out, you need to wait for him to calm down and come back to the surface. You can shoot him multiple times in a row. And let's see if he's going to do his new attack yet. Nope, he's not going to do it. We need to attack him one more time. Let's see, where is he? All right, yep, we can shoot him once, and you can shoot him again if you're able to get your aim on. I think I shot him 3 times, wow. And after you do that, the eyeball will appear. I just don't see the point of that. Like, whose idea was that to dumb down all the bosses in this game by giving them a giant eyeball? I just think that's so cliche. I mean, I know I've talked about it a lot, and I know many others have as well, but I just really don't see the point of why they put that in there. The boss fights were great to begin with, and I just feel like they're dumbed down now. Anyways, after you deal enough damage, after you hit his eyeball the first time, he'll have this new attack where he hops up on the side of the platform, and then he'll dive towards you. When that happens, I recommend putting on your bunny hood if you have it, and get on the opposite side of the platform and run perpendicular to him, so he'll dive, and you'll be able to dodge his attack. I also recommend using L and R to change the camera angles so you can quickly look in all the directions to see where he's gonna be. That works really well for me. Let's see. And he's also going to, okay, this is what I was talking about. Run perpendicular, and there you go. And he's also gonna be diving over you at the same time. And I don't think he can actually deal you any damage or hit you when he's hopping over the platform. I think it's just for looks. But let's keep on attacking him. Do I get the giant eyeball? Yep, I do. But the original fight of this game, since I did mention it, it required you to hop into the water and then hop back on land, and you did that back and forth. And it was really cool because it was a really fast-paced battle. You really had to pay attention to when you had a good opportunity to hop into the water, and it just, in my opinion, it required your entire attention span for the fight. It was very fast-paced. You had to alternate between being on the land and on water, and it was a really good fight because of that. I really enjoyed it. But you probably noticed we have not gotten in the water once yet. Enter phase 2. After you hit him that magical third time, he's gonna start ramming the side of this platform. And he'll sink it, bring it back down to the water, and now we must put on our Zora mask. I don't let those animations play out enough, but man, they're really cool. And once he does that, you're gonna see this room is a lot bigger than we once thought. This room is massive. Anyways, you're gonna notice that there's a lot of green pots around for you to restore your magic. There's plenty of them. You should be fine without the magic upgrade or without a green potion, but those do help if you have those. I recommend getting those. If you don't deal Gyorg any damage, if you let Gyorg sit on one side of the room for a little while and don't attack it, then it will start spitting out its babies to come attack you. They're more of an annoyance than anything. They do deal you damage, but the good thing about them is if you put on your magic barrier and kill them all, they'll often drop hearts. So you can end up taking a lot of damage from Gyorg because of this attack right up here. Sucks you in, gnaws on you, deals you 2 hearts of damage. If you don't have a lot of heart containers, that's a lot. So fortunately, there are the children of Gyorg that you can kill for their life source, should you need it. There you go. Oh, another heart. And you're also gonna notice that these spike mines are gonna be constantly being replenished around the battlefield. That's your hint that they are necessary to defeating Gyorg. Not sure why we keep, oh, those pots are left over from when the platform stuck. I was like, why do we need arrows down here? So, these spike mines, you're gonna notice that they keep on rising back up. What you're gonna want to do is when Gyorg is sucking in like this, you're gonna wanna hit the ice that's around the chain of the spike mines. That will break the chain, and the spike mine will float into Gyorg's mouth. And if you lock onto it, I believe Title gives you a hint as to that's what you should do. So, break it, and it'll float on in. The giant eyeball will come out once again. I mean, one thing that I'm just noticing is, if there's anything that's redeemable about the eye, is that it looks a lot like the eye from Majora's Mask, so maybe there's some sort of connection there, but I don't know. I'm still not a really big fan of it. It is kind of hard to break these chains without running into it, so I don't recommend swimming into it because you're likely to hit the spike mine above and blow it up and do yourself some damage. A good way to do it is just to go by and then hit on your magical barrier, and it'll just break it nice and easy. But this probably, I'm not gonna say, I think the first version of this boss battle was more difficult than this version, but I will say one thing that is hard about this way of the battle is that Gyorg doesn't always appear right next to a spike mine. So if he doesn't do that, it can be really hard to break one that's close enough and then also trigger him to start sucking in order to get that spike mine to go into his mouth without you being sucked in first. It is really hard to do, and a lot of times you just kind of have to wait until Gyorg gets closer to one of these spike mines. So it can be kind of tedious. Another way that you can break them is by using your double cutters, but I don't know, that's my personal favorite way of doing it. I mean, if you can go for it, it's just another like thing you need to do. Aiming at the ice is just more trouble than it's worth for me. So Second time, second the bomb, drop on down. The easiest way to deal this thing damage is just to put on your magical barrier, sit next to it. That ends up working out really well. And again, there's plenty of green pots around here should you need to replenish your magic. Definitely use those. Let's see if I can get over here. Nope, I'm going in. Yeah, good thing that I have all these heart containers, because if I didn't, I would be taking a lot of damage right now, but I also definitely recommend getting a fairy before you go into here. Because I will say this is definitely the most difficult boss battle so far. Odala is still my favorite thus far, but Odala wasn't really difficult by any means, especially in this version of the game. I really missed the original fight, but this is probably the most difficult thus far, I will say that. Not my favorite, but the most difficult. So, after you suck in the spike mine for the third time, drop on down, deal the damage, and that's it. All right, with that is Great Bay Temple completed. I do not need to procrastinate or load this temple anymore. It is done. We get a new heart container. We are 3 on our second row. That's very good. You seized Gyorg's remains. In doing so, you freed the innocent spirit that was imprisoned within this dark mask. Hey, listen, we want you to lend us your power. If you just leave things as they are, something terrible will happen to this world. Surely, you're the only ones who can stop it. That's what Tail was trying to tell us. I get it. We have to help the last one. Then promise us this. You'll cooperate with us.